The child who wasn't his Leo didn't expect to find anyone alive. The wreck was still smoking when he reached it. Metal pieces were spread across the red sand. Sharp, broken. Fire flickered from the engines. The sky above was quiet. No ships, no signals, just wind and heat. He climbed over the cracked hull, coughing. His scanner beeped once, faint life signs inside the pod. He moved fast. The door was stuck. He pulled out his tool, forced it open with a hiss, and then he saw her, small, curled up, alive, an alien child, maybe 5 or 6 years old. Green skin, glowing eyes, and soft silver hair. She stared at him with wide eyes and whispered, "Father." Leo blinked. "What?" She crawled toward him and held his leg tight. "Father." "You came." Leo froze. "No, I'm not." But she was already. Crying soft tears, scared, clinging, Leo knelt beside her. "Hey, it's okay. You're safe now." She looked up at him, smiling through tears. "I knew you'd find me." Leo took her back to his outpost. It was small, just a quiet station where he worked as an engineer, fixing drones and power cells. He laid her on the cot, gave her water, wrapped a blanket around her. "What's your name?" he asked. "Ziri," she said. "Ziri, are you hurt?" She shook her head. "Just tired." Leo scanned her body. No major injuries, just shock and fatigue. But one thing was clear. This child wasn't human. She was from the Aleri race. A species known for sharp minds, not emotion. They didn't bond like this. They didn't cry or hug. And they never called humans father. Leo sat back, confused. "Why me?" he whispered. The next day, a patrol ship landed near his outpost. Tall alien woman stepped out. She was armored, graceful, and cold. Her name was Kale. She introduced herself with sharp words and a voice like stone. "We are searching for an escape pod," she said. "A missing child. Ilari." Leo nodded. "I found her." Kyle stepped inside. The moment Ziri saw her, she hid behind Leo. Kyle's eyes narrowed. "She should not be afraid of me." Leo gently touched Ziri's shoulder. "Do you know her?" Ziri peeked out, then said softly, "Aunt Kyle." Kyle nodded. "Yes, I am her blood." She stepped forward, arms open. "Come. It's time to return." Ziri tightened her grip on Leo's arm. "No, I want to stay with Father." Kale froze, her eyes locked onto Leo's face. "Why does this child call you father?" Leo shook his head. "I don't know. The moment I found her, she called me that. I told her the truth, but she doesn't believe it." Kale stared at Ziri. "This is not normal, not possible. Ilari do not form such attachments." Leo shrugged. "Maybe she's different." Kale looked at him, eyes sharp. "Or maybe something has changed her." They ran tests. Kale scanned Ziri's memory pathways. What she found was strange. Part of her memory had been rebuilt, like a patch in a broken program. And deep inside that patch was an image, a human face, Leo's. Kale stared at the screen in silence. Her mind linked to your voice. Your image. During the crash, she must have heard you in her dreams. Leo frowned. "So I'm not her father. She just thinks I am?" Kale nodded. "Yes, but her body reacts like it's true." Leo looked at Ziri, who was sleeping peacefully now, curled beside a pillow he gave her. "So what happens now?" Kale's answer was cold. "We take her to Central, reset the false bonds, remove the error." Leo stood up fast. "You mean erase her memory?" "Yes," Kale said. "It is the correct step." But Leo shook his head. "Maybe for you, but not for her. A bond no one understood." Kale watched from the doorway. Inside, Leo sat beside the child. He was helping her fix a broken light toy with his tools. His hands moved slow, patient. He explained each step in a soft voice. Ziri nodded and watched. with wide eyes copying him. When the light blinked to life, she smiled and hugged him again. Not like an Alari, not like a child taught to follow rules, but like a child who felt safe. Kyle turned away. She had never seen anything like it. Later, Kale stood outside speaking into a communicator. Yes, the child is found, but she is compromised. The voice on the other end replied, "Reset the bond. Return her at once." "The bond is deeper than expected," Kyle said. "Human influence is strong. Irrelevant. Remove it." Kale closed the call. Her hand stayed on the device for a long time. That night, the wind howled around the outpost. Leo sat by the heater. Ziri curled up asleep beside him. Kale stepped in and stood in silence for a moment. "Your bond with her?" She said, "It's not real." Leo didn't look up. "Feels real to her." "Feelings can be errors," Kale replied. "We were built to resist them. Then maybe you were built wrong," he said quietly. Kale stepped closer. "She needs structure, logic, not fairy tales." Leo finally looked at her. "She needs someone who doesn't walk away when she cries in her sleep." Kale paused, then asked, "Does she cry?" "Every night," he said, "until I hold her hand." The next day they ran another test. Ziri sat in a small room surrounded by emotion sensors. Kale stood beside her. Leo stayed outside watching through the glass. When the door closed, Ziri began to panic. Her glow dimmed. Her heart rate rose. The machines beeped fast. "She's reacting to separation," one technician said. Kale stepped closer, placing a calming hand on Ziri's shoulder. "You are safe," she said. "It's me, your aunt." But Ziri looked past her, eyes searching. "Where's father?" Kale didn't answer. Ziri's breathing got worse. "Bring him in," Kyle ordered. Leo stepped through the door. Ziri ran into his arms. The machines went quiet. Her glow returned. She whispered, "I knew you'd come." Outside the room, Kale stood still. A scientist turned to her. "This shouldn't be possible. Her nervous system is stabilizing only with him nearby." "Can it be broken?" Kale asked. "Yes," the scientist said. "But it will hurt her, badly." Kale looked through the glass again. Leo was sitting on the floor, reading Ziri an old story from his tablet. She laughed at a silly part and leaned her head on his shoulder. "Maybe," the scientist said. "The damage is already done." Kyle didn't reply. Later that evening, Kyle stood beside Leo outside the outpost. The sky was clear. 2 moons floated high above. She spoke quietly. "We are not made for this. Not my kind." "Not yours," Leo answered. "Maybe this isn't about us." She looked at him. "Then what is it about?" He looked through the window, where Ziri slept under a warm blanket. "It's about her," he said, "and what she feels." Kyle's voice was low. "If they find out how strong this bond is, they will come for her." Leo nodded. "Then let them come." Kale looked at him again. Longer this time. How could someone with no blood connection hold on so tightly? Why did the child's glow only return when he smiled at her? Something ancient stirred in her memory. Stories her people buried long ago. Stories of rare bonds formed by will, not blood. Bonds strong enough to rewrite what was written in the body. Kale closed her eyes. "I will delay the order," she said. "But not forever." Leo nodded. "I just need time," he said. For all of us. Unwanted attention." His message came in the middle of the night. Kale stood outside the outpost, staring at the blinking signal on her wrist comm. "Classified agents incoming. Estimated arrival, 26 hours. Primary goal, memory reset. Secondary, relocation." She read it twice. Then she looked toward the window where Ziri slept, curled beside Leo, her small hand gripping his shirt. The next morning, Leo was fixing an old drone when Kale told him. "They're coming." He wiped oil off his hands. "Who?" "Memory division," she said. They want the child. Leo's face went still. To take her? To reset her mind, she replied. Remove the emotional link. Remove you. Leo stood slowly. And what does that do to her? Kyle looked away. Pain. Maybe worse. Ziri woke just before noon. She ran straight to Leo, arms wide, laughing. He lifted her up and spun her once. She giggled, glowing gently. Kale watched from the corner. This is not normal, she told herself. This is not how Alari children behave. Yet her eyes didn't turn cold. Not this time. Later that day, Kale took Ziri aside and tried something. Do you know who I am? She asked gently. Ziri nodded. Aunt Kyle. And who is he? She pointed toward Leo. Ziri smiled wide. Father. Kyle took a slow breath. Why? Do you call him that? The child blinked. Because he's mine. Kale hesitated. Even if you are Alari and he's not? Ziri's answer was soft but sure. He stayed when I cried. Hours later, Leo found Kale in the supply room. She was staring at old records, things she wasn't supposed to have. What are you looking for? He asked. Something I wasn't taught, she replied. Something our leaders erased. Leo stepped closer. What do you mean? Our race once believed that bond was not only blood, she said, but soul, memory, even fate. But those ideas were removed. Because they were dangerous, because they made control harder. That evening, the wind picked up. Clouds moved in. A storm was forming. Leo looked at the scanner. The agents will be here tomorrow. Kale nodded. If they see her like this, with you, they'll say she's broken. Leo looked out the window at Ziri, who was drawing with chalk on the wall. She's not broken, he said. She's healing. Kale's voice lowered. Will you fight them? Leo turned to her. I won't let them take her. That night, while Ziri slept, Leo sat beside her, watching the storm begin outside. Kyle walked in slowly. I have an idea, she said. But it will make you a traitor. To who? Leo asked. Kyle's voice was soft. To people who forgot what it means to feel. Early the next morning, the ship arrived. Sleek, black, silent. 2 agents stepped out. Tall, masked, calm. They entered the outpost without words. Kale met them. The child is resting, she said. We'll bring her soon. The agents nodded. They didn't ask questions. They didn't need to. In the back room, Ziri held Leo's hand tightly. They want me to forget you, she whispered. Leo knelt down. Then let's go somewhere they can't reach. Her eyes lit up. You'll stay with me? Always, he said. Kale opened the secret tunnel in the floor. Go now. Follow the canyon path. The far ridge has a trader's ship he owes me. Leo nodded. You're sure? I've made my choice, Kyle said. As Leo and Ziri vanished into the tunnel, Kale turned and walked to the agents. She's gone, she said. I set her free. The agents raised their weapons. Kale lifted her hand. If you want to erase her memory, you'll have to erase mine too. Escape with the child. The wind howled through the canyon like a wounded beast. Leo held Ziri close, wrapping her in his coat. Sharp dust stung his face as he moved forward, step by step, through the narrow trail. The storm was stronger than he remembered. Louder. Faster. But he didn't stop. He couldn't. Ziri's small arms were around his neck. Her head rested on his shoulder. Are they chasing us? She whispered. Leo didn't answer. He didn't want to lie. Far behind them at the outpost, Kale stood firm. The agents had searched every room, scanned every wall. They found nothing. Where did they go? One of them demanded. Kale's face stayed calm. I deleted the logs. You're helping a human steal a state asset. She's not an asset, Kale said quietly. She's a child. They raised their weapons. Kale didn't flinch. Do what you came to do, she said. But I'll never call love a malfunction. The storm grew worse. Leo reached the halfway point. a broken bridge above the canyon stream. It had collapsed, years ago. Now only thin stone edges and a single old pipe remained. He looked at Ziri. "Can you hold on tight?" She nodded. He climbed onto the pipe, slow and careful. 1 step, 2 steps. The wind pushed hard. The pipe creaked under his feet. Ziri buried her face into his neck. "Don't fall." "I won't," he said, though his hands were shaking. Halfway, across, the pipe bent. Leo dropped to one knee. The metal screamed. Then, silence. He stood again, and crossed. On the other side, he collapsed onto the dirt, breathing hard. Ziri looked up. "Did we make it?" He smiled, weak but sure. "Yeah, we made it." Hours later, as the sky began to clear, a small trader ship appeared near the ridge. An old alien with broken goggles stepped out. "Kyle's favor," he said. "I owe her." Leo nodded. "We need to go now." As the ship lifted off, Ziri sat in his lap, staring out the window. She placed her hand on his chest. "Do you have to be my real father to love me?" Leo shook his head. "No. Just my heart has to know you're mine." "Then it does," she whispered. "And so does mine." Back at the outpost, Kale stood before the agents, hands behind her back. They took her code badge. They scanned her memory, but her face stayed strong. They found no trace of the escape. And when they asked, again and again, she gave only one answer. "I did what was right." On the trader ship, Leo looked down at Ziri, now sleeping. He whispered, "You saved me too, you know." And for the first time in years, he felt like he was home. The hidden sanctuary. The ship landed in the valley at night. Thick trees surrounded, the old stone building hidden deep in the hills. It had no lights, no signals, no roads, only wind and silence. "What is this place?" Leo asked. The trader, an old alien with wrinkled blue skin, gave a small smile. "A sanctuary, older than laws, older than war. Few remember it. Fewer dare to come." Leo carried Ziri in his arms. She had slept the whole journey. Her body was warm, but her glow had dimmed. He stepped through the stone archway and entered the temple. Inside, the walls were covered in soft green moss. Ancient symbols ran along the edges. Some looked Ilari, some looked older than anything Leo had seen. At the center of the floor was a round platform with small steps. Leo stepped onto it. Nothing happened, but Ziri stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, and as she looked around, the symbols began to glow. First the walls, then the floor, then the air. Leo stepped back in surprise. Ziri walked forward, calm, steady, like she had done this before. She stood in the center of the platform, raised her hands, and spoke in a soft voice Leo had never heard before. It wasn't Ilari, and it wasn't human. It was both. The platform lit up with bright blue light. Beams rose into the air, scanning her body. A voice filled the chamber. Bond confirmed. Selected guardian, human signature on Leo Thorne. Leo froze. What? Memory link identified. Biological pairing, partial. Emotional match, complete. Sync origin, archive, 5174, mission rescue file. Ziri turned to him. It's true. What? You saved someone, long ago. A child, like me. Your memory, your voice was kept inside the rescue network. Leo remembered something now. An old mission. A broken lab. A cry for help. He had pulled a young alien girl from the fire, then lost her in the chaos. That was you? He asked. Ziri nodded. My body changed. My name changed. But the voice that calmed me, I remembered it. Leo stepped forward slowly. So this bond, me being your father, was never random, she said. I chose you. Behind them, the light dimmed. The platform lowered into the ground, revealing a small crystal chamber. Inside was a chair, a screen, and a single blinking message. The bond is rare, but real. Protect it. Teach them. Love is stronger than order. Leo stood in silence, then looked at Ziri. "Do you want to stay here?" he asked. Ziri shook her head. "I want to go where you go." He smiled. "Then we leave together." Outside, the trader stood near the ship. "The sanctuary accepted her," he said. "Then she's meant to live." Leo nodded. "Not just live, grow." The trader looked at Ziri. "She has power now, the kind many will fear." Leo looked down at her. "Then we'll teach her not to fear herself." Far away, in a dark chamber, a secret council listened to the report. "The child is active," one said. "Bonded to a human. Dangerous," another hissed. Or, a third said slowly, "a new beginning. Sacrifice and choice." It didn't take long for them to find the sanctuary. A black ship appeared in the sky at dawn. No warnings, no signals. It hovered above the trees like a silent threat. Inside, masked agents waited. Trained. Ready. Their orders were clear. Remove the child. Erase the bond. Neutralize the guardian. Leo felt it first, the pressure in the air. Ziri stopped playing with the leaves and turned her head. "They're here." Leo grabbed his pack and pulled her close. "We run." But before he reached the ship, someone stepped out of the trees, tall, armored, calm. Kale. Leo froze. "How did you find us?" Kyle raised her hands. "I never stopped looking." Ziri ran to her. "Aunt Kale." Kyle knelt, holding her tight. "You've grown brighter." Leo watched them. "Why are you here?" Kyle stood. "To help, or to stand between you and the end?" Inside the temple, the light began to flicker. "They're scanning us," Kyle said. "They'll strike soon." Leo nodded. "We have nowhere to go." "Then we make a stand." The black ship fired a warning blast. Trees fell. Earth cracked. Leo stood in front of Ziri, weapon drawn. Kale stepped beside him. "I was raised to believe humans were selfish," she said. "But I saw you carry a child who wasn't yours through storm and fire." Leo didn't look at her. "I didn't carry her because she was mine. I carried her because she believed I would." The agents landed, 10 of them, fast, sharp. They moved in a circle around the sanctuary. "Hand over the child," one ordered. "You have no claim." Kale stepped forward. "And you have no heart." The agents raised their weapons. Ziri screamed. The air around her cracked with light. Leo pulled her behind him. "No, control it." But the child was too scared. Her glow exploded outward. The agents fired. But Kale threw herself in front of Leo and Ziri. The blast hit her. She fell. Everything went silent. Ziri ran to her. "Aunt Kale." Kale's breathing was slow. Her armor was cracked. Light bled through. "Why?" Leo asked, kneeling beside her. Kale touched his hand. "Because love is not a system. It's a choice." Ziri placed both her hands on Kale's chest. The light from her body moved gently into Kale, healing her. Slowly, softly. Not with control, but with care. The agents stepped back, confused. "She's stabilizing," one said. "Impossible," said another. "She's using emotion. She's using family," Leo said. "And that's something your rules will never understand." The leader of the agents lowered his weapon. He looked at the child, then at the man and woman standing before her, and said nothing. He turned away and left. The others followed. No one said a word for a long time. Then Kale whispered, "You were right." Leo looked at her. "About what?" "The bond is real, more than just a father." Weeks passed. The black ship never returned. No more agents came. The sanctuary stood quiet again, safe, warm, full of life. Ziri played among the tall trees, laughing. Her glow no longer sparked with fear. It moved gently, like a soft star dancing with her breath. Leo watched her from the garden steps, a small tool in his hand. He had started repairing the old temple systems, lights, vents, and even the fountain that hadn't worked in decades. Kale walked out, carrying a woven blanket. She placed it beside Leo and sat. "She's stronger now," she said. Leo nodded. "Because no one is trying to take her away anymore." Ziri came running, holding a piece of stone slate. "Look what I made." She held it up proudly. On the slate was a drawing. 3 figures holding hands under a sun. One was small, her. One was tall with long hair, Kale. The last had messy hair and a small toolkit in his hand. Leo. Kale tilted her head. "Who are we?" Ziri giggled. "Family," Leo blinked. "Family?" Ziri nodded. "You're my father, she's my aunt, and this is our home." Kyle looked at the slate again. "But we're not like other families." Ziri smiled. "I don't want to be like others." Leo laughed. "Smart answer." That night they sat near the fire pit. Ziri curled between them, listening to Leo tell an old Earth story about stars that could sing. Kale looked up at the real stars above. So many. So far. But one was closer now. Not in the sky. In her heart. "Used to think family was only blood," she said softly. Leo looked at her. "And now?" "Now I think blood is just a beginning," she said. "Love finishes the rest." Leo didn't speak. He just smiled. In the months that followed, others came. Not soldiers, not agents, just people. Ilari and human, curious, quiet, open. They saw Ziri, glowing gently as she helped Leo with repairs or played beside Kale. They didn't ask questions. They only stayed a while, then left, carrying something lighter in their hearts. One morning, a child from a visiting ship asked Ziri, "Who is he really?" "He's not Ilari." Ziri took his hand proudly. "He's my father." Not by rules, by love. That answer was written in the Sanctuary's book by Kale herself. The child chose. The man stayed. And the bond that formed did not follow law. It followed the heart. Many years later, when Ziri grew older, people still asked her why she had called a stranger father. She always gave the same answer, because he was the one who didn't walk away. In a galaxy ruled by systems and silence, one child's voice changed everything, with one simple word: father.